The activity aims to determine the time to empty a tank of water through an orifice from an initial head. The apparatus and supplies used are orifice apparatus, set of orifice, hydraulics bench, and stopwatch. Step 1. Set the orifice tank fitted with 3 mm orifice. Step 2. Start the pump. Step 3. Regulate the flow rate by means of the delivery valve to maintain the water level at the maximum height. Step 4. Stop the flow quickly, closing the valve and switching off the pump to avoid siphoning back to the main reservoir. Simultaneously, stop the stopwatch and measure the period required to empty the orifice tank completely. Step 5. Record the time taken and the initial water level at the test sheet. Step 6. Repeat steps 2 to 5 for several values of each. There are only few possible sources of errors in this experiment, among of which is the discrepancy of the value of the calculated coefficient of discharge. All of the groups, though some are at close proximity with each other, but there are another that wasn't even close to value of the two other groups. So what we did was average all the coefficient of discharge value with each other and use that value instead. Another error could possibly come from human error. There's a probable chance that the person timing the discharge elevation from point A to point B timed it wrong. Though it may be a small chance, there is still possibility that it could happen. Another human error in this experiment is when the water is being spout out of the orifice and forming a projectile motion, and then somebody mistakenly bumped the hydraulic bench and disturbed the steady outflow of the water from the orifice. That simple bump could also cause a discrepancy of the timing, the change in elevation when the water is being discharged, and thus causing the experiment to restart again. In analyzing the data of results of the experiment, it can be easily noticed that the 6 mm orifice opening yielded to an almost 0% error, while with the 3 mm orifice opening had at most almost 6% error. It may be due to the larger opening space of the 6 mm orifice, and it also because that there was no other variable that had changed in the course of the experiment. By following the instructions given by the professor, this experiment can be performed properly and effectively. Also, Knowing how to properly use or utilize the hydraulics bench and the orifice apparatus will help in minimizing or eliminating the errors in this experiment.